enjoying the journey, Damon?
Yeah, and I'm enjoying documenting the journey even more. So
Exactly. So it's a bit rough and ready. We're on the bus. It's got a big crack on the windscreen. A few concerning noises.
We've got one working seatbelt between the three of us.
Yes, one working seatbelt between three of us, and it's Sachin, who arguably is in the least need of a seatbelt.
What's that supposed to mean?
You're already broke. Go on, carry on.
I'm never gonna dance again the way I danced with you. Am I not allowed to stretch my hip bones?
No, I want people to see it. It's good for your tutorial. Go on, show us how to stretch. Don't forget to push your bum out. Yeah, but it was building anyway. How does it feel to be at the spot where Archduke Ferdinand was shot?
Yeah, it's quite interesting. I could just on my channel.
Well, I had to tell you it was the spot.
No, but I couldn't find exactly where the spot was.
Well, I told you, because you're not interested in museums, but they built a museum where he was shot outside.
Yeah,
turned it into one. So, you know, if you'd read...
Being here, so,
I suppose it's your era, isn't it?
Yeah,
your specialty.
1900 onwards.
Man down. Will you make it all the way? Maybe you'll get there and be too scared to go back. And you'll live up there forever.
Maybe.
Oh, you scared?
Yeah, I'm scared, so... It's okay, it's blocked a bit.
Okay.
Come on, it is blocked.
It's a lovely view.
It's lovely, but it is blocked. This is a fair point, right?
You're unhappy with everything.
I'm not unhappy.
Always
I'm
moaning.
not
You should have
moaning.
stayed at the bottom with Damo if you're going to be like this. You don't appreciate it.
Right, so we were just in some random thing up there, about maybe a minute walk up. I think that may have been the start of the bobsled, possibly. I'm just looking at the ramp there, and there's some people up there.
So what's the significance of this for the viewers that don't know?
Okay, so this was the place of the 1984 Winter Olympics. So basically they obviously built the Olympic Park up here. I think the stadium's in the city centre, but this is a bobsleigh luge track, and there's a couple of the bits where they did the skiing as well. I think that's around here. So basically what's happened is this place has basically been abandoned.
A bit like Damien.
Too soon. Like,
I meant us leaving him at the bottom of the mountain.
He chose to abandon himself. So with Olympic parks, they are very costly venues. And in the case of the 1984 Sarajevo Olympics, because of the war, which I believe happened in the 90s, a lot of it just got abandoned really. And as you'll see shortly, a lot of it's just been graffitied over. You're basically in a sled going at like 50, 60, 70 mile an hour. And like that's the room you have to play with.
It's quite dangerous.
Yeah, it's quite dangerous.
I don't know your thoughts, but I do really like when like somewhere like this is so accessible from the city.
Yeah.
It's like completely different change of scenery and like not taking as long to get here at all. Right.
This is what I mean, is like, do you know when I say, I don't want to bring back to Manchester, but this is
Oh.
what it is missing. So, I don't know how you can see that. There's loads of bullet holes there.
You scared?
Oh my god, I'm so scared.
I don't think the video will capture it, but it's absolutely stunning down here. Very Ottoman vibes.
Chill sexy vibe?
No Ottoman vibes,
Not
which...
chill sexy vibe.
No Ottoman. Getting big men at the second feels. Hi guys.
Oh, come on, Sam. Let me just finish off.
Right, so now we're all back together as a group. We're gonna head out for some dinner. I'm hoping to eat in the sort of bazaar market area because I thought it looked really nice. I don't know if Bosnia has its own national dishes, but if not, I suspect the Turkish would be very, very good here, given the Ottoman influences, which you can see walking around. I like the architecture. When we first arrived, I thought it was a little bit rough around the edges, but having been around the market and the bazaars, I'm sold on it. I love the architecture. Has it got the food in?
It does now.
Both for me. Not eating today. Hungry boy. Hungry boy.
Whose fault's that?
Well, I didn't blame anyone, actually. I don't know why you get like this. You're on holiday, can't you just have a nice time with the lads? It's not about who's to blame. It's not going to get to you, actually. I don't know what they are, but they look very nice. And they do a box of them for €5. So I don't know what it was, but the one we tried was very nice. Morning all, waiting for the squirrel squad to finish getting ready and then we are ready to head out. So first full day in Sarajevo today. We've got a walking tour, then we're going to go to the museum where the Archduke was shot. They've got a museum inside. Then we're going to do a couple of the fortresses, which I think are Ottoman, which should be very good based on the Ottoman architecture we have seen thus far. And then finally, we want to do the museum of something along the lines of genocide and atrocities. So it's about the war in the 90s. So next stop will be somewhere on the walking tour.
How dare he stand where he stood?
That's where the assassin was. Will Sachin be an assassin tonight? And then that's where the car was when the geezer was shot. Inspiring. Your type of history, isn't it?
Yeah.
Business sector, the city never a souvenir of Sarajevo. So the question right now is why on earth send for a coffee as a souvenir from Sarajevo? Not just because possible motifs of Sarajevo that you can find engraved in copper or something else. Coffee. So this is the center, Sarajevo line. Inside the small one. It's hard to destroy something completely with a shell. So amazing. If you look across the heart of Europe, and a lot of people travel all over the world. And I meet them for 22 years in my city.
Right, walking tour is done. We're now heading to the Museum of Sarajevo, which covers the period 1878, I think, to 1918. So it's a museum where the Archduke was shot. So looking forward to that. Sachin's just going to head straight to 1900, carry on from there, so he'll probably take a little bit less time than we will. On the walking tour as well, one thing I thought was interesting, which I did say on the less popular YouTube channel just now, was the tour guide had a wound in his leg from the war. He said that 1 in 5 people actually got wounds in the war, and then since then you can notice a lot of people on crutches sort of wandering around the city. I think you'll be able to see all the bullet holes in the buildings from the war. This is for the Yugoslav version. Thoughts on the museum, Sachin?
I'm not really looked into this yet.
I don't think it's really what we needed for you.
Why?
Well, as you can see, it's basically just one room, so it's pretty light, so it doesn't really help with Sachin's view that nothing happened before 1900. If anything, it probably reinforces it.
So we've been lied to. It says that is the weapon used by the assassination, but I was informed by a well-renowned historian.
Me.
A well-renowned historian in the last half an hour that the actual weapon is in Vienna. So
I think it's in the I think it's in the Belvedere, but that is a replica and a fraud.
yeah, factually inaccurate.
But they don't tell you. Disgraceful.
Yeah, so bring you those
So,
history.
but how many people must come here, get a picture of it, go home, tell their friends, I saw the actual weapon, and I've no idea.
That's why we like to show ourselves as proper historians, me and Damien.
Absolutely.
Did you see the weapon itself when you were in Vienna?
He won't gone in the museum.
Right.
He doesn't do museums. This is his first one.
How do you feel about your first museum, Sachin?
I've been to
It feels
museums before.
You didn't see the actual weapon in Vienna, and you could have had the chance.
Well,
He was the weapon in Vienna.
Was dinner, Sachin?
Very good, actually. Very good.
So you can see, you can just about see up there, you see the Yellow Fortress, which is where we're going next. You can see the city hall there. It won't come out very well, but just there you can see the bridge, which is next to the spot where the Archduke was assassinated. So we're just heading into the Yellow Fortress now, and Sachin's about to issue a correction because he didn't know the difference between a bastion and a fortress.
do you know the difference in bastion and fortress?
Yes.
What is the difference?
So a bastion is what we were just in. This is a fortress. Damien, do you agree with that?
Well, what's the actual difference?
It does look like a fortress.
It looks more fortressy.
But you haven't actually explained what is the difference.
So we're now heading to the White Fortress, which you can just about see there. I don't know how close we're going to get because the tour guide said that they were reconstructing it and renovating it. So we might not be able to get very close to it. I thought it might be.
Why?
We said they were renovating it. Yeah, so I wasn't sure how close we'd get. You can see they're building something over there. I'm not sure what exactly. Not 100% sure, but on this wall you can see bricks all have names on. So we're guessing these are people that were killed during the war in the 90s. Genocide and Atrocities Museum done. How did you rate it, Sachin?
Quite moving. I think we all three of us a bit quiet on the walk home. Yeah, it's not nice. I always wonder how people kind of, don't know, you don't think it's possible, like some of the stuff that happens. I sometimes wonder when I go to these museums, like we're aiming for world peace, but is it actually possible?
I would largely echo that. I mean, like on the walk back, we didn't really speak at all. It was, I don't know as well. I think combined with the tour as well that we did this morning, it's definitely. Having been here for the second day, we're definitely noticing more things where, like, I don't know if it'll have been picked up in the videos as much, but like when you're walking down residential streets, you can just see they're peppered with bullet holes buildings, and like with the museum, yeah, it was just not in. It was a very good museum, but it was pretty horrific. I mean, I think I could have easily spent an additional hour and a half in there than what I did if I'd sort of sat and read everything. But I just didn't want to read everything, not because it wasn't interesting, but I think you read a certain amount and you kind of get the idea. And you don't really, or I didn't really want to see any more. I felt like I'd seen enough to get the idea of it. Morning all, we are on the way to the Gazi Husrev-beg Museum now. So he was one of the Ottoman governors, so we think it'd be quite nice to do that, because then we'll have, I think, basically covered the history, sort of the main historical events. Obviously we've done the assassination of the Archduke, we've done the Ottomans, and obviously did the war in the 90s as well. And then we're going to meet up with Sachin later and go and have a look around the financial district, the west side, and I think have a look at the Tunnel of Hope as well.
His father, Husrev-beg, a Bosnian aristocrat, was the governor, Husrev-beg. His mother was an Ottoman princess.
So this is basically the founding document of Gazi Husrev-beg's endowment. So he was governor for 20 years, and when he died he left all his wealth to be put in an endowment for the benefit of the city. And a lot of the public buildings that we've seen and stuff that are part of the old town have come from that. So like the big fountain in the centre, there's one of the big mosques in the courtyard there, that's come from that. But what's really interesting is the endowment was self-sustaining, so it's actually still going today. So for example, the indoor market that we went in, that's got like 80 shops in it, and they're all rented, and the rent goes into the endowment, and the endowment is then still used for public works for the city even today. So we've got his family tree here. If you go down on his mother's side, great-granddaddy, Mehmet II, the man who conquered Constantinople. So we've got some authentic sweet things. Don't know what they are. Do you want to try yours, Damo? Yeah. Do a review, live review. Verdict?
It's hard to describe it. It's like a the texture's unlike anything I've had in the UK.
Let's try this bad boy. It's very sweet. That's probably all I can really. It's nice. Got it on my shirt. I didn't think juice would squirt out. So you can't read it, but it says, "Welcome to the city of East Sarajevo, the city of 157,000 Serbs who had to leave Sarajevo." At the Tunnel of Hope now, so when the city was besieged by the Serbians in the 90s, the airstrip was under UN control, so they dug a tunnel under into the city basically, and that was the only way to get supplies in and out, so we're going to go have a look at it.
1.6 metres. But I'm 93. I think, yeah.
You hold me as well and get me walking.
I think so.
Okay.
Nice.
Fucking hell.
It says here that before the tunnel construction, anyone who wanted to enter or leave the besieged city had to run across 450 metre long airport runway under deadly sniper fire.
These are mortar, right?
Alright, museum's done, heading back now. I enjoyed it. We were probably only there like half an hour and spent like an hour getting to it and an hour getting back, but I still think it's worth doing, that being said, and it was cool to go in the tunnel. I think those might be bullet holes in the pavement. Back from the tunnel now, and I'm just going to have a chilled one really for the final evening, but it's a great opportunity to try my sweeties, which I haven't had yet. So, start with this little bad boy. Next I'll do the ready one. That one's better. Purple. That's quite nice. They're nice, but I'm not really a sweetie person. I swear they tasted nicer in the shop though, I'm not gonna lie. Final kebab of Bosnia. A very sad moment for me. Very grammable content this. You've been a good boy today, Sachin.
I'm always a good boy, Sam.
That's why you get an ice cream every day.
I know. Cheers.
Oh, wow.
I don't know who came up with the criteria.
Back from dinner. I think Sarajevo's basically done now. Heading to Belgrade tomorrow. It should be fun, as I think we've got a 4-hour train, 4-hour bus, and then a 3-hour train. I've really enjoyed Sarajevo. I really like the architecture. I like the Ottoman style. I like the feel of the place. I like the Austro-Hungarian style as well. There's a nice blend of history. Plenty to do in the city. Yeah, I've really enjoyed Sarajevo. I think I would come back. I think there'd be plenty to do, and I think it's just a very nice place to be. Sachin, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, it's been good. Enjoyed Sarajevo. Like I said on my video, I probably wouldn't come back sort of soon. I do want to come back and do I think maybe a night out, maybe on Friday, Saturday, because I think I've heard it's meant to be quite good. But I think it's been quite a humbling experience really. I think like we kind of spoke, it's this city and this country's been through a lot, this area of the world's been through a lot. And I think like I always say before, when you see stuff like this, you kind of like, you know, it puts a lot of things into perspective. Some of the things that maybe I complain about, whinge about, etc. It's just not important.
I'm glad you've finally recognised
I
that.
knew that anyway, but you know, it's when you're back home, you kind of get used to being in that bubble again, where problems that are problems are not problems. Whereas like
You do have a lot of first world problems.
I think we all do those. I think, you know, we all three of us doing, again, I think, you know, a lot of the problems that we face in the UK are insignificant to what we've seen out here. You know, we're true, like we've seen lots of buildings still with bullet holes in. We're seeing people walking around with, you know, arms and legs, and
I think it seems like a city that's in a country that's still very divided. Like I think for me it was when we went to the city of East Sarajevo earlier today, where it's like even the sign which I read out is pretty provocative.
See, off the back of being here, I've been doing a bit of like research and stuff like that, and again, I think you've kind of hit the nail on the head. It's not on the surface. I think it seems okay, but I think there's still a lot more that needs to be done to make it sort of a place that's, or an area of the world that maybe doesn't have conflict.
Anything to add?
You've kind of taken all the stuff there is to comment on, to be fair. But yeah, I'd agree with your thoughts. Good. The food looks good. I couldn't really enjoy much of it because I've barely been able to eat, but
Why's that, baby?
Bit like the women.
just a throat infection.
Is that all there is to it?
What are you getting?
Are you suffering?
I'm just asking.
Are you suffering from a broken heart?
I'm suffering from success.
I suppose you're both having as much success as each other.
Well, for now. Once I'm able to speak, we'll see how it goes. But yeah, overall, really enjoyed the city. I think we've pretty much done everything, all the main stuff there is to do in Sarajevo. Looking forward to seeing what Belgrade's like.
Alright, Sarajevo, over and out. Next stop, Belgrade.